Hello everyone and welcome to another reading vlog. So this is going to be a fortnightly reading vlog because I'm actually going on a bit of a trip to visit a friend and my sister. So I'm not really going to be doing a bunch of readings, so I'm going to make this a fortnightly vlog. And I was trying to think of like what I could do for this fortnight. I was just going to kind of like mood read as I went, but then I came up with an idea that is as dumb as I am, so you know, it's fitting.
It's funny because it's true.
I was looking at the Triple J Hottest 100 results and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna read books based on the top 5 songs. And so yeah, I picked my TBR this week based on these songs. So I'm just gonna go through them now. I'm gonna start this by saying I am a little bit pissed at the results for the Triple J Hottest 100 this year. Like, I'm not gonna be all like angry about it because did I vote? No! So I have like no right really to be pissed. I look forward to it. I feel like it's a way of highlighting Australian artists, and like 2 of the top 5 are not Australian artists and they are huge and winning awards in lots of other places. So why are they winning awards in Australia? In a award for like indie Australian music? Don't ask me.
Everything hurts and I'm dying.
And like, I like all the top 5 songs. Like, I like all of these songs. I think they're great. But like, you know, really, I don't know. So number 5 was Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish. And this is a song about being in a relationship with someone and realizing that you're just not happy. Like, there's no real reason why. You're just not, and like getting out of that relationship. And so for this one, I'm going to be reading Avoiding Mr. Right by Anita. Heist. I wouldn't say this is a romance book. It's more just like general fiction. It's about a woman who gets a job opportunity in Melbourne, and so she moves from Sydney to Melbourne, and she's not bringing her boyfriend with her. And she's kind of wanting to break up with him, but he doesn't want to, and his friend's like, he's literally perfect. But you can tell she's not really happy in the relationship. I've actually started it. I am 64 pages in and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I thought that this was fitting because again, it covers a relationship where you can tell the chick is not happy in it. Then number 4 was Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo. Again, like, why are these 2 artists even in the Triple J Hottest 100?
Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Someone tell me how to feel.
So Good For You, I feel like we all know what this song's about. A relationship has ended and the other person is doing real good, moving on, doesn't seem affected, whereas the other person is like not doing okay. And so for this, I'm going to be reading Love and Other Natural Disasters. And this is a fake dating female-female YA romance, which is about these 2 girls fake dating because one of them has broken up with their ex and they're really cut about it and the ex doesn't seem to give a shit. So I thought that was pretty fitting. And yeah, I'm really excited for this one. The cover makes me want to cry. It is so, so cute. And then number 3 was Lots of Nothing by Spacey Jane. So this song's about a self-discovery, not self-discovery, kind of self-analysis about to be your full potential, you need to kind of accept and acknowledge the parts of yourself that you don't like. And for this one, I'm going to be reading When We Were Them. This is another like YA contemporary, and this one's about a friendship breakup, and it's kind of about the characters analyzing like what went wrong, what did they do wrong. So kind of, I'm assuming they're going to be analyzing their flaws. And then song number 2 was Stay. This one's another pretty straightforward song. It's about a relationship that's failing and someone is begging the other person to stay and like trying to convince them to stay with them. And so for this one, I'm reading Maybe Next Time by Christina C. Jones. This is a novella. It's the first book in a, I think, trilogy of novellas about nights in Vegas. This one's about a failed marriage and the guy trying to convince the woman to stay. And I think he like holds her up in his house or something. Not like super creepy, although it sounds super creepy. So you know, this might go south very quickly, but I think it's kind of him not letting her go because he's like, let me try and convince you why we should make this work. And then number 1 is the biggest joke of this entire thing.
That's a joke, Ray. It's comic.
It was the Wiggles. The Wiggles did a cover of Elephant Tame Impala. Hi, it's me from the future. I decided to change the book that I picked for the elephant song. I did have a book that I did want to read for that, but I completely forgot that I actually have a book club that I read books with my friends in person, and I need to read the book for that. So I have decided that considering the fact that the Wiggles won the Hottest 100 is a complete joke, literally I think that people voted for it for a joke, and it's a joke that it won. So like the whole thing is just a great, you know, great laugh, very Australian, the fact that that won. So I have decided that my pick for this book will be a complete joke, because this book has absolutely nothing to do with that song. Absolutely nothing. But I need to read it, and is it a complete joke that I'm picking it for this prompt? Yes. But the song is also a complete joke, so... Hello everyone, it has been quite a few days since I've done an update, so I apologise if my vlogging quality is a little bit shite. I feel like I'm out of practice. Just thought I would do a quick reading update. I've been reading is Avoiding Mr. Right by Anita. This one follows Peter, and she has moved to Melbourne, and so this book kind of talks about what it's like living in Melbourne compared to where she's from, which is Sydney. And reading this while being in Melbourne was so cool, because, you know, I'm a country bumpkin from Tassie, so it was so cool reading about the city life while being in the city. I thought that was really cool. This is kind of following her as she goes on this journey of becoming independent. She's got a job there, and she has left her partner behind, and they're kind of doing a long distance thing, but you can tell she's not really happy in the relationship, and it's not, neither of them are kind of getting what they want from it, and it's kind of a disaster. And so it's kind of about her coming to terms with that and what she wants in life, and I'm actually really enjoying it. This isn't really a genre I gear towards, but I enjoy it when I read it. I've actually got quite a few tabs in this because Anita Heist is Aboriginal, and so is her character Peter, and so there's so many passages that are just like mind-blowing. Let me see if I can find one. So she's talking to her partner who has said something, and it kind of triggered her, and she was just like, what the fuck? And he was like, oh, well, what do you want me to do? Like, how can I help Aboriginal people? And she was really pissed off by that. And then she went on this massive like spiel, which was amazing, and I was just blown away. This part was my favorite. So he's like, why are you getting so angry? And she's like, because white Australians like you point out my responsibilities but don't recognize your own, or the fact that you benefit every day from the dispossession of Aboriginal people. You mightn't be responsible for the past, but you benefit from dispossession every day. And you sit here asking me, what can I do? You can definitely see that she had potential to be writing the kind of things that she writes now. Because while this is like a coming of age story about a woman living like city life and working, there are some really powerful passages about Aboriginal people. And I feel like there would be so many, you know, working Aboriginal women who would just relate to this so hard. But I will say there are a few issues with this, because this is quite old, like early 2008. So this is quite old, and so just the way some things are described are a little bit, you know, it's like a product of its time. But yeah, just a few things that are a little bit cringy and like awkward, but yeah, most of it actually translates pretty well. So yeah, not many complaints. I'm enjoying it a fair bit. Hello everyone, I'm just here to do a quick reading update because I have finished Avoiding Mr. Right. I think I'm gonna give this like 3.5 stars. That feels about right. There were things I really liked about this, but there were things I wasn't like a huge fan of. I think that overall the main character was just pretty unlikable, and I like unlikable messy characters, but this felt done in a way where it wasn't like enjoyable to read about because she was just like kind of shit. Like kind of just like bad in a way that I couldn't like get on board with. Like there was one part in particular that was so fat phobic. Like she had gained some weight on a trip and she was going on about it so much and like, oh my god, she went to the swimming pool to lose weight and she saw these people with stretch marks that she would never have. Like she would never let herself have disgusting stretch marks like that. You know, I'm just sitting there reading it, knowing that I'm covered in stretch marks. I have been since I was like 13 and I'm just like, thanks. That makes me feel so great about myself. I think the plot was lacking. I don't mind stories where it is just following someone's life, but it was frustrating because there was this plot line with the couple and we really didn't get any resolution for that. And then the book just ends and it's changed in like the in between the end of the book and the like epilogue. It's like, bitch, I read this entire book to see this relationship crash and burn and like I don't even get to see that. Like the whole book is just, there's no progress in it. It just is stagnant and we're in the same place and like it's just following her day-to-day life and I'm like, I wanted to see this relationship be a hot fucking mess. Okay, I also didn't really like that like it was so obvious that this relationship was not for the main character and she just kept going on with it and it's like, please let this poor guy go. They just didn't fit together. They weren't a proper fit. If they stayed together they wouldn't be living their lives fulfillingly and it's just like, why are you not just breaking up? And I know that like it was covering how when you're in these relationships you can really struggle with knowing when to let go, and even though like you kind of know like it's hard to let go because you love that person, and like I get that and I think there's a lot of people that would read this and relate to that, but I was kind of just like, for fuck's sake, just break up. Like I don't know, it just felt very icky at times. Like it's so obvious that you don't want the same things as him and that you're stringing him along and not communicating that, you know? And it was just like, oh, instead of talking about things, let's just have sex. And I don't know, it was like, you're an adult and you're a very intelligent adult and you're very emotionally mature in pretty much every other aspect except relationships, and I don't understand. But I really did like all of the social commentary. Sometimes it felt a little bit preachy, like it was Anita Heist using the book to voice her opinions, and I'm not a huge fan of when that happens. I prefer when it's seamlessly done in a way that makes sense and sticks with the plot and the characters, and this felt a little bit over the top, but I did think it suited her character, so I think I was okay with it overall, and I just really enjoyed those aspects. They were my favorite parts of the book for sure, and they like helped this book not be something that I didn't really enjoy. And like I read this in like pretty much 2 sittings on the train, so it was pretty good. Like I could read it. It was pretty addictive in ways because I was enjoying seeing her everyday life. And I think, again, being in Victoria, specifically when I was in Melbourne, and her being in Melbourne and talking about Melbourne life was just so cool. It was such a coincidence. I didn't really think about it when I chose this book. I was more, of course, thinking about comparing it to the song. In terms of if this is like the song that I picked, not really, because there are reasons why they aren't good together, whereas the song is just like, there's no reason, you're just not happy with this person. And I don't really think this is what this was in the end, but yeah, I still think like going into it was a good pick, and it wasn't like, I think that there are bits that are comparable. So yeah, it was a good pick for the song. I enjoyed it. It was like perfect timing for being in Melbourne. And yeah, I'm really happy I picked this up. So I think it sounds interesting. Give it a go.
Semi-finals for this year's Australian Open. Would you please welcome our 7th seed from Italy, Matteo Berrettini. And his opponent today, our 6th seed from Spain, Rafael Nadal.
progress in love and other natural disasters. This one is about a girl who moves to a new city and she meets this other girl there and they hit it off, but then she finds out that she has recently broken up with her girlfriend and they end up fake dating so that she can kind of make her ex jealous and want to get back with her. And so normally those sort of stories, it's like the main character is the one that's had the breakup and uses somebody else, but in this one it's another character that's using the main character, and it's kind of following their fake dating and obviously their romance. And it's also got this subplot where the main character is getting to know her like grandmother, who is homophobic and has treated her like son, so the main character's uncle, really terribly for being gay. And it's kind of covering that as well. It's kind of like covering a storyline of what do you do when you really love someone but they're homophobic, and you know that if you come out to them it will ruin that relationship, but like you know that they're in the wrong 100%, but you also love them and you know that that's going to ruin the relationship. And what do you do? Like, do you stand up for yourself, or do you hide that part of yourself to maintain a relationship? And is that worth it? And is that kind of relationship even like good at the end of the day? Like, definitely covering something that I think is really important for young people. And it's unfortunate that that happens, but it does unfortunately still happen. So yeah, I definitely prefer that like side plot. I really enjoyed the romance at the start, but it's just carrying on for too long. Like, honestly, it's getting to the point where the love interest is just fucking annoying. It's like, oh my god, you're obsessed with your ex, just move the fuck on. Hello, sorry, that last clip was so like cut off suddenly. I don't want to film in front of people, so my sister got home and I was like, oh shit. I finished Love and Other Natural Disasters and I think I'm gonna give this like a 3.5. It had so much potential, but I think there are a few things that didn't go super great with this. I think mainly there was too much happening. I think we just didn't get enough time with all of the things going on in this story for it to feel like complete and satisfying. I think the plot line that could have been taken out was the main character's parents, the plot line with them. I think that didn't really bring much to the story. Like, the parents were getting a divorce and it was turned out that the mama cheated on the dad kind of thing. And it's just like, I don't know what this is bringing to the story. Like, is this really necessary? I don't think so, kind of thing. So yeah, I think if they'd taken that out, it would have given us more time with the plot line with the homophobic grandmother and her dementia and needing to move into her home. I loved that. Obviously, being an aged care worker, it was probably given that I'd love that, and that's one of the plot lines I think should have stayed. But I think the whole plot line with her being homophobic and exploring all of that was so interesting and effective, and probably a lot of people would relate to that, and it's not something I've seen in a lot of books. So I think that could have been fleshed out more, because that brings something to the plot, whereas I feel like the parents' divorce just didn't really, like, I feel like the story would have been the same without that kind of thing. So it's just like, was that really necessary? No, I think that should have been taken out to give us more time to explore that and the couple, because it's pretty evident early on that the end game isn't actually between the two people fake dating. And I just don't think we got enough time with that, because they are actually so cute and I really, really loved them. But I feel like the plot with the fake dating just went for too long. Like, not even necessarily the fake dating, but just so many of the scenes were between them. And it's like, this isn't going to go anywhere. And it's kind of like corny, and like I'm just cringing because the girl she's fake dating just needs to get the fuck over her ex kind of thing. Yeah, again, too much happening. I think we just needed more time with the actual couple of this story, because they were so cute. But I really liked all of the characters. I think that the main character was so likable. She was so cute and energetic and like such a hopeless romantic, which like I related to. She felt like me as a teenager. So yeah, I think this is a fun book. Again, 3.5 isn't a terrible rating, but in terms of relating it to the song, thumbs up. I think that they work really well together. Thank you. back to do another quick chaotic reading update. Obviously, I'm pretty busy at the moment, so this is just going to be quick and snappy. But I've started listening to When We Were Them, and not having a good time with this one. This is a contemporary, YA contemporary, and it is about 3 friends, and we follow one of them, and it's one of those books that jumps between timelines. So we have the present, and then we go back to the past. And it's about what happened with this friendship group, because in the present, they are no longer friends. I think 2 of them are friends, but the main character is no longer friends with them. And we know that she has done something bad that she's feeling really terrible about. I'm going back in the past to, like, reflect on the friendship group and what they were like. And I just find it kind of boring. I don't know. I like stories about friendship. I just think that this one's kind of boring because the actual plot of what happened is so intriguing, but we're just going constantly back to the past, and we're not really seeing a lead up to what happened. It's just seeing their friendship. And I feel like that can be done in like one flashback. Like, we could have one flashback. If you write it really well, we will get the friendship. Like, we will feel it. And I just feel like all the flashbacks we're getting are just not necessary. It's kind of boring because it's like, this is all in the past. Like, I get it. They're good friends. Like, you've shown me that. And it just feels like pointless. I don't know, and I'm just kind of bored and I don't really care, but I will finish it. But yeah, I'm not loving it. I think that it would have been more effective if we were going back not so far in the past to just see the lead up to what happened, and then we can try and guess. I guess as the story progresses and the past gets closer to the present, that will start happening. And I guess the present ones are kind of in, you know, helping us understand what happened, but like not really. I don't know, I'm just not having a great time with it. Hello everyone, just to do a quick update that I finished When We Were Them, and I'm gonna give it like a 3 stars. I think that's being a little bit generous. I don't know, I didn't really like it, but I think a huge amount of why I didn't is to do with the narrator of the audiobook. They were so monotone and sounded so boring that I was just bored in response. I was like, boring! No, just, it was boring. I didn't really care about the characters because of the issues that I had with the pacing that I mentioned before. I just couldn't really find myself getting emotionally invested. And I feel like there was just so much going on in their past, and like it was the story of their friendship, but I was so much more interested in what ended up happening that I just didn't care. And like all these horrible things happen to them and they go through so much together, and like I should care, but I didn't. I guess the resolution and the ending was good, and I think it covered well what happens when you become so codependent on your friends and you're kind of not your own person. I think that was really interesting about this as well, and I think it's a good message because it's important to be your own person. And I think that when you're a teenager, we do get very dependent on our friends, and our whole personality sometimes just shadow theirs. Yeah, I think that was really like interesting kind of thing, and you know, you don't really see that a lot in books. But yeah, I don't know, just wasn't a huge fan. And yeah, again, I think a lot of it's to do with the narrator. Maybe it's more a 2.5, I don't know, but again, I feel like that's a bit harsh. Anyway, it is what it is. I didn't love it. In terms of relating it to the song, yeah, I think they worked pretty well. They're both about someone reflecting on things that they have done, parts of themselves, and things that they don't really want to think about because they're not nice, because we don't like to think about bad things that we do and our flaws, but it's a part of progressing as a human. So yeah, I think that the song and the book went well together. just here to update my reading for maybe next time. I've actually finished it. I'm sorry I didn't get to update like before and after. This one is kind of what I said it was at the start of the video. So it is about a guy that kind of kidnaps his wife to try and fix their marriage. So I feel like, I don't know, I guess it was like, it was funny and stuff, but I'm just a little bit like, I don't know, I feel like it could have been done without that, but it like added to the story. So yeah, I'm giving this a 3 stars. That aspect of the plot brought it down for me. The rest is probably like a 4, but I'm just like, that's just weird. I still, like, every time I was like, I'm enjoying this, but then I remember what's actually happening, I'd be like, but why? So yeah, I think that the reason that their marriage was struggling was really good. Because I often, when it's these kind of plots, I'm like, it's stuff that I feel like will just keep happening. Like, people don't super change. And I feel like if you've done it once, you might do it twice, especially if it's cheating. I pretty much never am on board with that kind of plot. But this one was, like, the reasoning was so real, and that's what couples really go through. But it just felt like that's something a couple could get through, and it's something I can get behind because it's something that you really would just struggle with. And the ways that they were struggling were so authentic, and I really just like felt for them, and it was handled with such care. Well, I feel like, and they're human beings, so they didn't really know how to cope with that, and trying to maintain a marriage at the same time would have been very difficult. And I really appreciated that at the end it talks about them going to couple therapy. I just think that is really lovely, and you could feel that they were still very attracted to each other, and there was something there worth saving, and they fit really well, and every time they talked it fit well. And this is just a novella, so you know, you don't get a lot of time with this, but I felt like it was done well, and I really liked it. So both the novellas in this series have been pretty strong. Again, this would have been a 4 for sure, but just that, like, the kidnapping, I don't know. Again, every time I would be like loving the story, I'd be like, but why did he kidnap her?
Come on. Make it weird.
But in terms of relating it to the song, yeah, I mean, again, this song's pretty straightforward. It's not anything super like lyrical and crazy, so it's pretty easy. He's begging her to stay. That's what the song's about. Yeah, I think they fit pretty well. Back home and I'm emo about it.
What do you like to cook?
Blood.
So I have started listening to, I don't even remember what this book is called. When She Was Taken, the girl that was taken. Anyway, the picture's here. I hate this. I actually hate this. I don't like thrillers. They scare me, and everyone I've talked to in the book club that has read it is like, oh, it's not scary. And I'm like, well, I'm fucking scared and I don't like it. And it's referencing like serial killers, and I don't want to hear about that. And I just don't care about thrillers. It's just not my genre. I think that's the problem with book clubs, because you're kind of like reading books you don't want to read. but I don't want to be like, oh, we're only going to read books that I like, you know, like I'm not going to be that person. And, you know, everyone else has pulled through, so I guess I'm going to pull through.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
But I fucking hate it. Like, I don't care. And I'm just barely paying attention because I'm just listening to it. And, like, I feel like because I host the book club, I need to listen and pay attention because I need to come up with questions. But I think I'm honestly just going to go and be like, I hated this. Every answer to this question is that I hated it. So I'll just find generic questions online and just get everyone else to talk about it, and I'll just sit there being that person that didn't like it because I hate it. It's about this girl whose sister was kidnapped and she never returned, so they've never found her or her body. But one girl did return that was kidnapped at the same time, and her memories are very hazy, and she's gone on to like write a book, and it's gotten a lot of publicity, and there's not really much talk about the main character's sister, and the main character is a forensic. Is she a forensic psychologist? See, I'm barely paying attention. Anyway, she works with like dead bodies, and it's her trying to find what happened to her sister, and I just don't care. I don't want to know what happened to her because it's probably going to give me nightmares. So, like all the talk of her, like we get chapters from the like other girl who was taken, and she's talking about being locked up, and I'm just like, I don't want to listen to this. I don't want to hear about this, especially because awful stuff like this does happen to people, and I don't want to read about it for like fun or entertainment. Like I just don't. I'm not a thriller person. I'm 100% not a thriller reader. I've never read a thriller in my life. I have zero interest. Does that make me a horrible person? Probably. Like I'm sure it's not badly written and it's probably a good thriller. I just don't. It's just not my genre. Everyone, I ended up DNFing the girl who was taken.
That's a twist. That's very twisty.
I just couldn't. I was up till really late one night, terrified because this light went on in the house. I don't know. It was probably just like an electronic thing turning on or something, but I was certain that there was someone in the house trying to abduct me. I can't read thrillers. They just scare me. Like I knew that if I kept reading and we got even more graphic details, and I read in reviews that this is quite graphic, I knew that I wouldn't be able to sleep. So yeah, I DNF'd it. I've told everyone in the book club that I'll come up with some generic questions, but if they want to come up with ones, definitely do that. But I'm sure they'll be able to like discuss it and have a good time. But yeah, I just, it's not for me, unfortunately, and that's fine. Not everything is for everybody. It doesn't mean that it's bad, you know, it's not a bad genre, it's not a bad book, it's just not for me, and that's fine. Normally I wouldn't even have picked it up, it was because of the book club. So yeah, but that is going to do it for this vlog. I have read all of the 5 books based on the Triple J Hottest 100 songs, and I had a really great time. None of them ended up being books that I really liked. They were all kind of middle of the road, aside from the one that I just DNF'd, but the others were like, yeah, you know, okay, pretty good, some better than others. But yeah, it wasn't a great reading fortnight. I wanted to say week, but it was a fortnight. Gosh, time went quick. That's gonna do it. Thank you so much for being here and watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this vlog. Definitely let me know down in the comments what your thoughts were of the Triple J Hottest 100, and also on any of these books if you've read them, if you're gonna pick them up. Let me know. Let's chat in the comments. But thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, I would absolutely love if you would consider subscribing and giving this video a big thumbs up. It really helps my channel. But yeah, I guess hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!